Hello there. Let me just check my mat's in place. I'm a bit late today. Oh, just falling into the camera. Oh dear me. Hello. So, right. So Tuesday and Thursday this week we were doing the red light reflex. So we're going to carry on with the red light reflex. Just sort my hair out as we go along. And red light reflex is the front of your body, especially in here where your shoulders get rotated forward. We want shoulders that are up here, and into the hips, the front of the hip flexors, and into the thigh muscles and the back of the knees and the ankles. If you're there, say hello. Let's see. Okay, so we carry on with the red light. So what I'm going to do is take some of the moves that we did this week, repeat them, and just change some of them up a little bit to extend them. I'm umming a lot, aren't I? I'm a bit late coming to this today. I wasn't very organised. Oh, and actually somebody came around, which was very lovely, to drop off some money, which is always very nice. Money's owed. And then I got chatting down the alleyway, 2 metres apart, showing them exercises. The things you do, eh? Hello, Karen. So what we're going to do is red light. So we are going to do our arch and curl. And we're going to do the knee lift that we did yesterday. We're going to extend the leg like we did yesterday. But what we're going to do today is, hi Angie, we're going to, when we've done our chest opening moves with our arms, we're going to go back to the arch and curl, and we're going to do our arm extension on one side, because we did both arms yesterday, so we're going to do one arm today and extend it with the leg. So it's very strong. So you're just going to build up to that and just be very mindful about how you do it. I'll show you that in a minute. We are going to go back and do our 2 walking moves. I'm going to do both of those together. We're going to do upper arm twists, where we twist into the chest muscles here. And then we're going to go onto our fronts, and we're going to do our side back lifts on the side, because we want to get this diagonal across the front of the body, where we tighten into the back muscles and lengthen across the front with extended legs and using our bottom muscles. And then we are going to come over onto our sides and do the move that we did yesterday. We're going to do that one again, which is the side lying, opening the arm out, twisting into the shoulder, because that's really, really good for hips and neck and shoulder. It's good for diagonally, it's good for everything. It's brilliant. It's the best one. So I'm just going to show you those, what I'm rambling on about. Obviously, if you're watching this and you've done it before and you're watching this not live, then you could just go past all this. It's usually 10 minutes in that I'm actually doing something. So I think you can see me. Yes, we can see me. So we're going to be arch and curling as usual. We're going to build up to, we're going to do the flower, because that's the red light reflex, which gets everything, opens across the groin, inner thighs, chest muscles, and we're just going to work our arms out a bit further as we do that. And then we're going to do our reaching across or fingertips. Then we're going to do our knees up. Then we're going to do our arms over our heads, and then we're going to extend the whole thing to be arm and on one side with the arch and curl. So we're going to spend quite a lot of time building up to all that to lengthen everything. Then what did I say? So we're going to do our 2 leg walking moves, where you send the knee forward, bring the other one back. So we're doing our pelvic tilting, pushing our pelvis into the floor on each side. We're going to do that very slowly and carefully, not at the speed that I'm doing it. So you can see my knee going forward and back, hopefully, or my hands showing you. And then we are going to do our knee over, so we get some nice lengthening down the side and in the inner thigh. And then we're going to turn over and do our side lift, where we lift up, lift the leg up, side lift, lift the leg up, do our modifications if we need to, where we just bring our arm up, just squeeze the bottom muscle. How else do we do it? Head down, lift the arm up, head down, lift the whole arm up. So just modifications on that one. And then we're going to do our side lying. Oh, I better plug myself in. I got cut off yesterday, didn't I? Hi, Kaz Roberts. So we'll be doing our side lying. which we did yesterday, but we're doing it again because it's great to play into it. So if you did yesterday and you do it again today, you're going to have some amazing results. Because if you could do this move every day, it'd be fantastic. So we do this, then we leave the arm out, we come up, lift our body up, squeeze into our waist, and then we rotate the arm in, and then we rotate the arm out. So I had neck problems yesterday. All day I was hurting my neck, and I did this and no more neck pain. I slept well, no neck problems. So that's what we're going to do. Let me hoik my trousers up, sort myself out. Hi, Helen. Helen. Who's Helen? It's because I've got you down as Fiona Helen Leopard. Fiona. Oh, Helen. Well, you could be Helen as well, I don't know. Let me just, I'm plugging this in because I got cut off yesterday. It was very embarrassing sitting up yesterday after the class, and it was a blank screen. So I'd missed the last 5 minutes of sitting up and saying goodbye to everybody. And I did have a good have a good ramble while I was sitting up, so it was quite amusing for it not to be recorded. Anyway, there you go. What are we doing for time? So any questions? If you're there, say hello. If you're still there, say, oh, hello, Anne. Hi, my lovely. Nice to see you. If anybody wants to ask any questions, want me to demonstrate anything, show them anything, got any problems, want to tell me about them, you do it now, and then I can sort of shout out as I'm doing it to you to say, don't do it like this, because I know certain people have shoulder issues, certain people have hip issues. So if I know that you're watching and you've got a problem, then if you tell me now, then I can do a little shout out, maybe modify the exercise with you in mind. So I'll wait patiently. You can say something. They take a little bit of a while, don't they, to reply, because you've got to tap out the answer, and then it's a very funny space to be in, this world of technology, waiting for people to reply to you, even if there's anybody watching at all. You never know. Oh dear, funny. Who else is here? You know, all the people that message here could have all gone by now. I don't know. So yes, so red light. So I'm sitting in a proper red light at the moment, dreadful position, pelvis tucked under, shoulders rounded forward, chin sticking out. Can imagine the state of my neck if I stayed like this for a long time. So we're going to get nice and tall and have our shoulders back without having to force it. So just one comment, if you are somebody who is a red light person, because of whatever habits you have or whatever problems you've had with back or other issues. Oh, sorry, Kaz, that's a shame, isn't it? I've just had somebody else come round to my house and say similar things. They're waiting to see me. So they're doing stuff at home, but they can't do the, they can't do it themselves. They're getting their husband and daughter to massage them. Oh. Have I tried Zoom yet? I have tried it. I did a little taster class, and then I wasn't really sure about doing Zoom because of how many people I could fit on it. But it is an option. I have looked into it. It does work. It's fine. It's lovely to be able to see people and tell people what to do, and what to do, to watch what they're doing and see, be able to advise people. But it's just how many people would I be able to do that with? The logistics of getting everybody on it, and I'm not really charging anything at the moment either, and that's another issue around payments and all that sort of thing. How many people can come on, because you can't have that many people, I don't think, without. Anyway, I have looked into it, Fiona, and and if this carries on longer, then I will look into the possibility of doing it. So we'll watch out for your shoulder, Kaz, if you're doing the class. Oh yeah, I was going to say, if you do red light stuff, if you release the shoulders and you release the front of your body, and you do that for a while, what I might suggest is maybe you did 2 or 3 days of just doing some of these ones that work for you to release the front of your body and make you feel softer. Then do some strength work on the back of your shoulders, so squeezing the shoulders back, lifting the arms up, squeezing them back. Anything you can do with some sort of TheraBand or anything that squeezes back and rotates these shoulders up and back would be brilliant for you. Same with your bottom muscles. If we're releasing the front, then we want to get the back strong, because they've got weak from being tight in these hip and flexors and shoulder areas. So you know, it's great, you can release these, you keep releasing, the muscles are getting longer, but if you haven't got strong muscles at the back, the minute you go back into these habits of sitting at a computer, it's just going to keep repeating itself. So, you know, you've got to really do something strengthening to help. And that's another thing I've been looking at, thinking about doing some classes based on that, where we look at maybe just the shoulders, and then we do somatics for the shoulders, and then we do strengthening stuff. And then hips and, you know, other parts of the body. So that's an option as well. So anyway, let's crack on with the class. I just ramble away all day, can't I? You know me. So let's all lie down. I'm going to pop the comments away so I can actually, there we go. Let's have a lie down. I'm plugged in, so hopefully I shouldn't disappear. Rest down, soften into the floor, get rid of my glasses. Oh, it's a bit chilly in here today. Soft, soft, soft. Remember, the focus is the front of the body. So let's have a quick scan up the front of the body. Soften into the floor, try and just slow down your breathing. And then, especially if you've been talking 10 to the dozen. So really start travelling up from the feet. Checking out everything along the front of the body. Remember, the red light can bring on knee pain because it overstretches the quad muscles and the calf muscles, the inner thigh muscles, and makes the kneecaps go out of balance, the joints go out of balance. So just look at how high up from the ground the back of your knees are, if there's some tightness in there. Or rotating of the legs out in a very big way, that's another thing. Any areas of pain, make sure you have a look around the groin, under the thigh, pelvic bones, side of the pelvis. Have a look at your abdomen, see if your breath's going there, see if there's any tightness across between the two pelvic bones at the front. So yesterday, what I noticed after doing the red light reflex class was that my pelvis had tilted forward. So I'd obviously released down the front of my body for that to happen. So I can see that it's kind of gone back a little bit. I haven't got as high a dip in the back. So I'm going to use that as a guide to sort of see how much has changed at the end, how much my abdomen's let go at the front, up to the rib cage. Make sure you have a good check around the chest, from the kind of muscles that go across to the breastbone, out into the arms. And a really good look around the neck. Because if you're in that red light and your neck's jutting forward, you're going to have tight neck muscles at the back. And those tight neck muscles at the back will be causing problems. When you get up into the head, have a quick scan down the front of the body, back of the body, all those pressure points on the floor, what's going on. If you haven't checked the arms, check the arms. And then we'll get started. So bringing the legs up gently, feet up, parallel, side by side, hip width apart. Focus on your breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow that out breath. And then just making the breath a bit bigger, notice where the breath goes to. Watch how it goes up into the shoulders, what it does to the rib cage. So if you breathe in deeper, if that causes a problem. Can you expand? Where doesn't it expand? Does it cause a problem between the shoulder blades? Do a few deep breaths, see if you can do it in a somatic way where you Breathe and expand, but don't push into any pain. You can control the breath out, nice and slow and long. And then take the breath further down each time into the pelvis. Lengthening, let the belly expand. Sink down gently, like it's squeezing the breath out of you. When you can feel that breath getting down further and further into the pelvic area, down to the groin, down towards the thighs, down underneath, then you can start gently arching the back. Very gently, little arch, send the pelvis forward, tilting forward, fishbowl, imaginary fishbowl full of water, tilted it forward, it would spill down between your toes. And that's all you're doing. You're not going in the opposite direction. The water's not spilling up to your head. So we're just arching, coming back, breathing in, arching. Seeing if that belly expansion will send the pelvis forward a bit further. Watch what's happening in the back, the waist. Not a lot should be happening in the legs. Sometimes it's a bit hard if you've got tight inner thighs and sides of the legs hurt. This position's not brilliant. Just being on your back generally is not brilliant for some people, is it? So do this in a very small way. If you need to roll over, get up, move around, do that. Don't just lie here forcing yourself to do this. It's very small, controlled, reminiscent of cat-cow in yoga, but not as fast, not as big. Obviously you've got the pressure of the floor, so it's not the same thing, but it's that still that arching and that curling. So you can just picture that if you're not really sure what you're doing. Start pressing the shoulders back at the same time in just a tiny way. It doesn't have to be very big at all. Shoulder blades just pressing down into the floor might be enough for you to engage the back muscles in between the shoulder blades, in the shoulder blades. The arm might open a little bit. You might just feel rotation in the arms if you're doing it in a very small way. The back of the arms might press into the floor. Just be mindful of your chest opening. So have that awareness of your chest muscles lengthening as you press the arms back and that nothing's hurting through the chest, in the neck. If it's really hard for you to have this neck position, then you can have a pillow, but have a very thin one. Don't have one that pushes your chin right up into the air. Have one that just changes the angle a little bit, so it might be kind of 1 inch, 2 inches deep, and that's about it. So some of you might have to have more than one pillow with you when you do this class. You might want a bit of depth later on when we do the side lying position. Sometimes it can help with your breathing if you struggle to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. If you have a little pillow, just propping your head up a little, just changing the angle of the neck slightly so that the chin tilts forward. So we're just arching, coming back to neutral, and if you feel the urge, you can start going into the curl. If you want to investigate, if you're still exploring how to keep this steady and controlled, then don't start curling, but otherwise, curling. So all we're going to do for the next 5 minutes probably is work into the flower. So some of you can just work at your own pace. You might just enjoy exploring how far you can open. If you know what you're doing, I know some of you out there will probably be halfway there already. If you're doing this for the first time, then just take your time. Just watch what's happening. If you don't quite get to the movement that I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. You'll have got to where your body is ready to get to. So curling just means you breathe out and your pelvis with the bowl of water tilts, spills the water towards your chin, goes back, levels out. Goes the other way, spills the water towards your toes. That's all that's happening in the pelvis. The shoulders may just be pressing down, you may not be bringing them up and forward. Or you might be. If you are, then feel that squeeze into the front of the chest muscles like you're drawing them in towards the centre of the body and down towards the belly button. So there's lots of fibres that go in all different directions, so you want to try and target all of them. You might feel the shoulder blades lift off the floor at the back, at the top, as they come forward. And the bottom of the shoulder blades pressing into the floor, rib cage pushing into the floor more. If you want to start bringing the arms in into the arch and curl, then as you breathe in, your hands will open towards the ceiling, and as you breathe out, your hands will rotate down towards the floor. That might be exaggerated. You might go right over onto the thumbs, you might bring the arms into the body, depends on where you've got to. As long as you can control it in the opposite direction and there's no pain and bouncing, then you're off. As long as you are still watching it, watching what's happening, change your where you're visualizing things or where you're looking at things. So if you do a big shoulder movement and you squeeze into the shoulders, make sure that your pelvis is okay. It doesn't cause any lower back pain, doesn't cause any waist pain. And then the last thing that would happen is that your knees would open and close. So as your hands roll over and tighten into the chest, your knees will come together and squeeze gently. Maybe not, they may just touch or they may just come towards each other, and then they would open as you breathe in, and that might just be a centimetre. Your inner thighs may be very tight from all that sitting. You might have a pelvis that is underneath your body, that goes lengthens your back and tilts posteriorly, it's called. And then you'd really have trouble with this movement for your inner thighs to let go completely, because it'll be so tight in that position. Down to your knees, into the back of your legs. Sometimes having tight inner thighs makes people think they've got tight hamstrings at the back of their legs, but it's not. It's the inner thigh that goes into the back of the thigh, sits in between the two hamstrings, and if it's tight and pulling inwards, then you're going to feel like you've got pain in the back of your hamstrings, and that it's the hamstrings themselves, when actually may not be. Might be all of them. So we're just opening gently into the flower, closing it all in tight into a good squeeze. Sometimes I lift my arms right off the floor and roll them towards the body. Sometimes I then put the elbows down first and then rotate the arms out if my chest muscles need a little bit of care, which they do from this blinking book editing. If you're squeezing the inner thighs quite tightly, be mindful of the outer leg, bottom, hip. So we're just staying in this pattern, we're working into it. The more time you can spend doing this, and you could spend like half an hour just doing this, watching every part, isolating each part, watching a shoulder for a while, watching the back of the shoulder. You could spend ages doing this movement, working up to really getting some good lengthening. You could take the arms a bit wider. In fact, let's start taking the arms a bit wider. Let's play into the muscles in the sides, front, back. So you could take your arms out 45 degrees from the body, start working up to 90 if you want to. Some of you will be able to do that happily. You could start squeezing the shoulder blades down the back a bit more. Have a real good awareness of your neck. If you're somebody who's doing this quite wide and you're very controlled in this, then turn your attention to your neck and the arch and curl that's happening up there. And you can play into that a little bit more, bringing your chin forward and down to your chest as you open up. And let the chin stick forward, tighten into the back of the neck as you come into a tight out breath. We're going to do 3 or 4 more of these wherever you've got to. It doesn't matter, you don't have to be opening up in a big way. Your arms don't have to be fully rotating forward and back. As long as you've got control. Okay, so I'm making this the last one, and then I'm going to bring my legs down, let go, soften into the floor, do nothing. That was quite a long session, but that's really good because ultimately this is where we open the front of our body in all the directions. So we're going to go into our arms across the body. Bring the knees up, feet on the floor, make sure you're comfortable. Either have your fingertips by your ears, some of you might not be able to go straight into that comfortably, so have your arms across your body in a hug, and then just open the arms out as you arch. Bring them across the body as you curl. If you're doing fingertips by your ears, same process, you've just got bent elbows and you're bringing the elbows across the body as you arch the pelvis and opening them as you curl. So we're just playing into the position of those chest muscles a bit more that we were doing with the arms earlier. We've got full control, everything's happening as it should because you're doing it really carefully. You're watching your shoulder blades at the back, that they're okay. You're watching how far you open your arms. If you're doing the squeezing across the body, you may put your arms down very close to the body and then just let your arms open out. If you're squeezing in, it's like giving yourself a hug. It might be across your chest, it might be under your rib cage. Slide the arms open so the back of the arms, the top of the arms go on the floor first. Squeeze the shoulder blades back, let the arms open at the forearms, which are in the air. Come back again. So again, be mindful of your neck. Soften your jaw, use your breath, breathe out as you squeeze in to the front, breathe out as you open. If your elbows are in the air, just be careful that you're not opening too widely, you're not stretching the chest muscles. You're not stretching between the shoulder blades as you bring the elbows together. There's a lot going on. Lots of things happening in the abdomen at the same time. Be aware of that, the rib cage connection to the abdomen. Remember to breathe all the way down if you can. So what we're going to start doing, because what we did yesterday was we brought the knee up. So we're going to start thinking about bringing the right knee up as the elbows come together or as you hug yourself. In a little way, it doesn't have to come right up to your shoulder. Right knee comes up, goes back down onto the floor just before you arch. Make sure your foot's down on neutral. If you can't lift your leg up with this bent knee position, then just lift your toes. I'm going to play into the ankles a little bit. We're doing right leg. Don't worry if you're doing your left leg, I can't see you. As long as you do the other one later. So my elbows are coming across or my arms are hugging me and then my foot's lifting up, keeping my heel on the floor, toes just lifting. So you feel a tightening in your hip flexors and your calf, which is nice. You can play into your calf a little bit. But you could do that as you bring the knee up as well. Flex the toes towards your knee. And then when you feel able to, you're going to start lengthening the leg away down the body. Now you can take the arms out at any point you want to. You could have them by your side. You could be hugging in still. You could be lifting your chest up if you want to bring it towards your knee. I know some of you be doing that automatically anyway. Start lengthening the leg away from you. Once your foot's down, your back's neutral, start lengthening it away, start arching. You may not take it all the way down to the bottom of the mat. You might do. Be mindful of the front of your hip as you lengthen that down and you arch. So that's lengthening that whole hip flexor, and it's also lengthening into the psoas muscle, which is a hip flexor that's in the inner thigh and into the spine. Comes up through your pelvis. Very strong muscle. Core muscle. We're going to do 2 or 3 more on this side. So wherever you've got to will be where you've got to. You don't have to start bringing in other things if your body wasn't ready to bring knees up and lengthen legs down. Let's make sure you're breathing down into your belly on the next 2. Make the breath the focus. And when you've done that last one, let go, bring your arms down, bring your legs down, soften into the ground. Do nothing. Couple of long breaths. And then we'll bring the knees up, we'll start that process again. Hips, feet parallel, hip width apart. Arms doing whatever you want them to do. They might go back into the flower arms, they may go into elbows, lifting again, they may go into the hug. But we're going to go to the left leg and quite quickly go into bringing that knee up. Now we've already done the chest opening, or lifting the toes up if you're keeping the heel down. Maybe do 4 rounds of just bringing the knee up without lengthening the leg. Thinking about whether you want to bring the body off the floor. If you do bring the body off the floor, tuck the chin in. Kind of goes against what the actual movement would naturally be, but we want to protect our neck. We want to drag our head up through the air with it dangling behind. When you start lengthening the leg down, make sure that leg's okay to go all the way down. And don't over flex when you get down the bottom. So if you're hypermobile, don't force the foot to lift off the floor, because you're forcing your knee back into the floor just because you can. Have that awareness that your calf hasn't risen off the floor because you've pushed the back of the knee into the floor. Try and avoid that if you can, hypermobile people. So I'm just lengthening my leg up and down as it feels fine to do it on this side. I'm going to change my arm position because I can. Just going to do a bit of squeezing. So quite like opening my arms out to the side. My right shoulder doesn't particularly like it, so I have to just be a bit careful as it opens, that it may not want to go as far as the left. So that's what I'll do. So we're going to do 4 more. Concentrate on your breath. Right down to your abdomen. This could be my last one. Lengthen your legs down when you're done. Rest, do nothing. So we're going to do one last thing in our arch and curl, but we need to just make sure our arms are ready for it. So we're going to bring our legs up, arch and curl position, arms above our chest, long arms, palms facing forward. We did this yesterday, I think. So long arms, shoulders at the back sunk down into the floor, so they're not reaching up into the air, they're just fully weighted down into the floor. If you can't do that, it's too strong for you, bend your elbows, put the upper arm down on the floor and just have the forearms facing up into the air, hands facing forward. So it's the same position, it's just halfway down. And then change the angle of your arms wherever you're comfortable. Might be 90 degrees, might be a bit smaller. And then we're just going to arch our arms, go back. Curl, our arms come forward. Pelvis is arch and curling, arms are going back as we curl, as we arch, forward as we curl. They may touch the floor at the front, they may not, they may touch the floor at the back, they may not. But that's up to you to feel into your chest muscles, your rib cage, your abdominal muscles, how it affects your lower back. If your shoulder blades are too high up your back because you're a red light person, just slide them down your back a little bit before you start. Then see if that lets your arms go back a bit You might have a good arch on you and you can work into sliding the shoulder blades down to draw the arms back behind you. If you can do that, great. Make sure there's no pain in that. It's just very strong, but it's very good at opening the front of the chest, giving some strength into the shoulder blades. Breathe out as your arms come forward. Pelvis might only be doing a little movement, might be doing a big strong movement. Really depends on your body. This all may be very tiny. You may be only moving your arms about 10 centimetres above your shoulder blade, above your shoulders, in front of your chest. Maybe very tiny. As you work into the chest muscles, the shoulder joint. So the ultimate thing really is that you're lengthening the muscles in your chest that allow your shoulder girdle to go back. So that's your clavicle being able to go back towards the floor. That's the collarbone at the front. Where it attaches to the point in the shoulder blade at the front. So we're going to do 3 more rounds of these because we're going to bring this into the arch and curl with a leg lengthening. So let's just make sure that we've got a measure of what our body can do. And then rest everything down. I'm going to keep my knees up, just drop them in together. Make sure everything's switched off. If you've lengthened your legs down, I'm going to bring them up after a couple of breaths. And then we're going to arch and curl. And we're going to have our arms up above our chest again, like we just did. And then in fact, let's just have our right arm. Put your left arm back down onto the floor. Maybe bend it out a little bit at an angle. And then we're going to arch and curl. And then eventually we're going to bring the right knee up. Touch the arm forward onto the knee as we curl, and then as we arch, we're going to take that arm behind us, lengthen the leg. Do this all very gently in the first couple of instances, and just arch into that. So be very kind to yourself. The other side's not moving very much, so this side's got to work against that as well. There'll be only so far it can go without bringing the other side along with it. So if you want to not touch the knee and just touch the arm down to the floor, then you can investigate that. Be an even tighter squeeze because of the rotation of the chest forward. If you don't want to slide the leg all the way down, you don't have to. If you don't want to bring the knee up, you can still do the toe lift. You can squeeze the shoulder blade down your back if it goes there. You can lift up the body if you want to, just be careful of that because you're going to start tilting a bit. And you do 3 more. And this might be something that you spend quite a bit of time doing in your own time, after you've done lots of build up towards it. Don't go hammering into this as your first choice of morning exercise. It's very strong. Make sure you've got some lengthening in those hip flexors and the front of the chest first. Making this my last one. I'm going to lengthen both sides down, let go, sink into the floor. So let's do the other side. So bringing the legs up gently, feet on the floor, parallel. Leave the right arm where it is, leave the right leg where it is. Bring that left arm up. Remember, it can be bent down to the floor as well. Upper arm on the floor, forearm sticking up in the air, palm forward. You can do it in that position. Knee coming up or toes lifting. Thinking about the lengthening of the leg down the mat. You can get into all of this quite quickly. You don't have to build up to it because you've done all these moves before. You're just putting them together now. You just got to be aware of how strong it is to be just doing one side and leave the other side down on the floor, and that you might just have to monitor everything that's happening very carefully. Don't let the leg shoot out through the floor. Slide it along the mat, bring it up along the mat. Have some awareness of your abdominal muscles. Breathe into your abdomen. Have some awareness of the other side. The other side, your trauma side, you need to just have some awareness of it. Soft jaw. I'm going to do 3 more. When you've done your last one, then lengthen your legs down, rest into the floor, do nothing. So we're probably going to have to leave out one of the moves that I talked about at the start, but that's all right, it's not the end of the world. You can always go back and look at them yesterday or Tuesday. So what we're going to do is we're going to just get into our hip movement again, get these hip flexors firing up, get them reminded that they're there. So feet hip width apart, arms by your sides, we're not using the upper body. And we're going to send the right knee forward, we're not arch and curling. We're going to breathe in, send the right knee forward, push into the foot, draw the left thigh back. Foot might lift off the floor a tiny bit or get lighter on the floor. And then slide them both back into position. And then we'll do the opposite way around. So send the left knee forward, push into the foot a little bit, so you can feel that extension, and then draw the right knee back. So that means you're tightening into a very small area in front of the hip, the groin, not the hip, the pelvis, pelvic bone in the front, and then come back. So then we're just going to treat that like a walking movement, like you would if you push into the foot when you walk. One knee goes forward, one goes back, the pelvis tilts forward and back on each side, with their independent movements that they can have, should have, but eventually don't have, become one big block of movement. So they can't move independently, and then you try and do a movement that involves them twisting and they can't do it, and that's why you get back pain. So we're going to remind them that they can move independently of each other, pushing them into the floor independently. Have some awareness of your back muscles, your abdominal muscles. Do it slowly, come back to the position and go forward. Remember, you're sending the foot forward. When we do this in class, we don't include the opposite leg usually, we just let it kind of sit there. But this time we're drawing it, squeezing it back as if the knee is trying to come towards the body. It's not going to lift the foot off the floor, it's just going to feel lighter through that foot. So you're going to feel more pressure through, if you're just sending the right knee forward through the right foot, the left foot will be lighter off the floor. You've got to actively draw that thigh back on the other side, but not lifting it up, just drawing it tighter in the groin. So you're kind of massaging your pelvis into the floor a bit, so be mindful of that. Breathe into your belly so that your back muscles can soften. If you do it with the breath, you breathe in as you send a knee forward and then breathe out as the knees come back together. Make sure you do settle the pelvis back down before you go again. This might be a tiny weeny movement till you get the control. You might have to do it smaller on one side. You might find the movement gets smaller, smoother quite quickly. It might not. You might have to be really mindful on one side because it's painful, so it might be that you're moving a millimetre forward at a time. You might not be able to engage the groin on the other side, or the hip flexors. The point I'm talking about is the front of the thigh where it meets the body. That area, should you feel that? If you put your fingers there, you should feel that your fingers kind of get pushed back if you're actively bringing that thigh back. So you're not tilting up, you're not pushing enough pressure in the floor to tilt your pelvis over towards the other one. It's all forward and back. We're going to do 2 more each side, and then we're going to let go. It's nice when you get the control and it becomes quite, it doesn't become so confusing for the brain. It goes, oh, okay, we're going one way, then we go the other way. Sometimes it's really hard to coordinate that with this move, especially if your brain hasn't been very active in your hip area for a long time. We're going to lengthen the legs down gently. Let go. So the last thing we're going to do on our back is, I'm going to leave out the twisting arms, I think we've done enough arm movement, is we're going to do our walking 2. So actually this is walking 1, but we did walking 2 first. So we're going to leave your left knee where it is. Doesn't move out of the way, doesn't do anything, just holds its position. Even if it might want to move out of the way, but it's going to hold its position. You send your right knee down towards the big toe on the left. So it's actively going forward, so you have to kind of let go through the groin where you've just been working, and the side of the body, and bring it back up again. And then go onto the edge of the foot on the other side, send the knee forward, press the right pelvis down into the floor. You don't actively do that, it should just be happening. And then bring the knee up, and then carry on that movement. Let the knee drop through the centre line, try and aim it forward, lower than the other knee. Towards the calf, the knee's going towards the calf rather than the other knee. You really have to feel that in your abdomen, feel it in your waist, side of the leg. If there's any pain, you need to come back up again, so don't kind of push past that pain. I can go much further on my left side than I can on my right, because there's some tightness around my pelvic bone at the front in my abdomen. Some nice scrunched up fascia in there. Slow it down, keep that opposite knee where it is. Let the pelvis settle down when the knee comes back up before you take the other knee over. When you use the breath to breathe it in as the knee goes down. Breathe into the abdomen, lower back, hip, pelvis, on that upper hip. Shouldn't necessarily need to anchor the opposite shoulder like when we take our knees side to side, because your other side is stabilising your pelvis, not tilting it over. Now if you want to, you can actively draw that pelvis like we did on the last move. Draw that pelvis on your standing leg, draw it in tight, so you're kind of squeezing into that hip flexor at the front again. So if you put your fingers there, you can feel it tighten. So the knee will draw back and your foot may feel like it's light on the floor again on that upper knee. And you might find that helps you bring that lower knee further forward and down with the tilt back of that standing pelvis. We're going to get lengthening in all the muscles around our pelvis, around our hips. inner thighs. Just remember, I can't remember if I set this up properly, that your feet are wide as the mat. If they're not, then you're probably finding this very difficult, so make sure they're wider. Have another go. Apologies if if you didn't get that. Start feeling this more in the waist, back muscles. Let's make this the last round. And then we'll let go gently. Bring the legs down, slide them down. Let go. Do nothing. So that's quite a lot of front work we've done. Lovely. So let's see if we can play into it a little bit more diagonally, with the twist of the waist and the opening of the chest with long arms, and the really squeezing up into the side of the waist and the abdomen by doing our side moves. So coming gently over onto your side. You might need a pillow, you might not. I'm going to run over a little bit time-wise, so hopefully you'll all stick around. Have a pillow under your head if you need one. Bend your knees 45 degrees, so the body stacked on top of each other, thighs. Reach your arms out in front of you, 90 degrees to the torso, so the palms are on top of each other in a straight arm. Then just take that upper arm over your body, doesn't matter which side you're on. Reach it behind you, look over your shoulder, feel how your waist feels. Come back the other way, touch back down. Just do 3 of these. So we just want to get a feel for how our waist is moving, how far our arm could go without any of the other movements that we're going to do, how much restriction we've got, any pain areas. Be mindful of your lower shoulder, your lower waist, anything that's going on the lower side, that you're not forcing any pain into that area. Just when you do your third one, check out where your arm gets to, how much rotation you've got. Knees shouldn't be coming off of each other or off the floor. And then come back, just rest for a couple of seconds. So that's a move that you can do, and just repeat that, and that will give you some nice waist lengthening. But we're going to open up again, and we're going to leave that arm where it is, where it gets to. Maybe not that far if it feels like a stretch. Maybe bring it up a little bit. Tuck the lower arm under your head at the back or the side. And then you're going to look towards the ceiling. You're going to breathe in and then breathe out. As you breathe out, lift the head up, squeeze into the waist. You might not come up very far, doesn't matter. You might come up very high. And then come down very, very slowly. Be mindful of the weight in that other arm, in that top arm. Feel how when you come down, you twist a little bit more through the waist, possibly. It might be a minuscule movement, but you just see if you can feel it. If you're so open through the chest that it's hurting your chest, bring your arm up a little bit, make it a little bit more up into the air, and squeeze the shoulder blade down your back a little bit. And then we're going to breathe in, breathe out, and go up again. Squeezing up, you should feel it in your waist, your abdomen. And then we're going to come down very, very slowly. Slow, slow, slow. It's got to be very slow. And fully let go. Let that lower arm go down. Don't over-rotate that upper arm. It might want to just fall right out. You don't want to take all the weight through it in the chest muscles. And we're going to go up one more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift up gently. Squeeze up into that position, so we breath's gone, and then come down very slowly, breathing in your lovely long breath through your nose. Feel how much you've rotated, and then come back, bring the arm back, rest on your side. Couple of breaths, nothing, And then we'll do the same thing, and then we'll rotate the arm in. So we're going to go back to that position you just were in for the second round. And we're only going to do 3 moves, very slowly. Try and do it with me, so you're doing that slowly. I don't want you to just go up and down and up and down. I want you to feel that rotation happening in the waist when you come down, and you really breathe in, let everything settle. So gently open your arm, the other one's still underneath your head, elbow out to the side. And then we're going to come up, breathe in, breathe out, come up, and as you're coming up, rotate the arm in, breath's fully gone, and then come down, breathing in, and then unrotate the arm at the shoulder. Let it lay open. It might be too strong for your body for that, especially if you're fully over the midline, if you've gone past the 90-degree angle. Come up again, breathing in, breathe out. Rotate the arm in at the chest muscles. Really bring that shoulder forward and down towards the belly button, still lying on your side. Come down gently, let that lower elbow open. Come right down, breathing in, let that upper arm unravel. Mine's nearly down on the floor now. It is on the floor. I did this yesterday as well, so I was all ready to go. Just needed some reminding. This is really great for your neck. Breathe in, breathe out, come up, squeeze up, squeeze up, squeeze up. Rotate the arm in. Feel it down the side of your body. Feel it into the muscles in the side of the body. Hold it for a little while if you can. You might do a round of breath up there. And then come down slowly, slowly, slowly. Let the body down. Really let it go down. Then let the arm unwind at the chest muscles. And I'm fully on the floor. I haven't done that for a while, so that's good. Shows it works. And then come back gently, all the way over, all the way over. You might want to rotate all the way forward. And then rest on your side. So we're going over time-wise. If anybody's not taking much notice of the time, got to be anywhere. So coming slowly over to the other side. So I'm going to do 9 more moves, 9 of those, 3 of each. The investigation, the coming up into the side, and then the rotating of the arm in. If you always think of it like that, then you're going to do a nice controlled slow move. If you think randomly about numbers, you're going to just keep going up, down, and doing all sorts of odd things. So let's just breathe in, take the upper arm back. Let the other arm stay open along the floor. Feel how the chest muscles feel. Feel how much rotation you've got on this side. How it affects the other side. Breathing in, do it with breath. Breathe in, let the arm go back. Feel how the opposite side of the chest feels now. It should feel nice and open, and if it does, then it will let you rotate a bit more from that side. So have an awareness of that other side. Reach the arm back again. Check out where your arm gets to. Mine's on the floor this side because I did this yesterday and it was on the floor by the end of it, so that's good. Bring the arm back gently and rest there. For these last 6 moves we're going to do with breath, we're going to do it very kindly and gently, knowing how you did the other side now. Tuck your right arm, or whichever arm you're on, over under your head. Bring that left arm, if it's your left arm, over your body into that twist. Don't leave it down on the floor if it's gone that far. Just bring it up a little bit. You're not fully open. Breathe in, breathe out, squeeze up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Breathe in, come down. Fully down. Feel how that waist rotates a little bit more. If you're fully down, oh, I've got a nice little back click, obviously needed that. Breathe in, breathe out. Slowly, slowly, slowly as you come up. Don't force the head up with your hand. It's just there to hold it gently. Keep squeezing in. Hold that squeeze if you want to. And then gently come down. Shouldn't be any bouncing. I held it too long and I bounced. Last one, breathe in, breathe out. Come up gently, gently, gently. We're not twisting the arm in, we're just getting our waist muscles reminded. Let the brain do one thing at a time. Knees are still grounded the other side. And then we're going to come back. Let's have a little rest. Let the brain assimilate all that. And then last round, so opening the arm again, head's rested back down on the pillow or the floor, on your hand, and then you breathe in, breathe out, come up, rotate the arm in at the shoulder, really squeeze it in if you can, really bring it forward, draw it down into the waist, and then opening gently, breathing out, breathing in, let the arm come down last. Breathe in, breathe out, squeeze up, rotate the arm in at the shoulder, squeeze, 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 unless it's really sore. This is so good for your neck if you do it really gently. Come down gently, breathing in, let that arm unravel. So I'm fully twisted now, my whole weight is on the floor, shoulder blades on the floor. I never used to be able to do this when I first learned somatics. But this was the first movement I learned, and I was so amazed at how quickly it got rid of neck pain if I did it every day. And that was just learning it off a YouTube clip. That was before any training. Rotate in as you come up, breathe out, come down in your own time. Sorry, I'm aware I was rambling away with that one. Maybe you want to do another one. When you're done, then come over onto your side, have a little rest there, maybe twist forward, bring that shoulder forward, and then rest on your side. And then slowly coming over onto your back. If you've got the time, we'll do a little bit of arch and curl with the flower just to investigate how everything's feeling, because we did the flower at the start. Arch and curling, breathing in. It'd be nice for you after the twist to go back to the vertical anyway. And then when you're ready, just gently squeezing the knees, rolling the arms in. You've played into those chest muscles like we did on Tuesday. So the flower should feel a bit different. You might just swing the legs open straight away, confidently that they're not tight anymore. Breathe in, breathe out. Just investigate. We don't have to do this for very long. It's just nice to see what changes have happened, how much control you've got, how quickly you can go into the arch and curl now. And then when you've done a few rounds, lengthen your legs down, let go. See how everything's feeling. So my pelvis is tilted forward again. I've got a hollower back. That shows that I've lengthened my abdominal muscles. My hip flexors have let go a bit and lengthened down my thighs, so they're not pulling the pelvis into a tuck under tilt. So my back's pressed in the floor. So all these little things, and they might be minute, but it shows that things are lengthening and working. So have a quick scan, foot to head. Take all those areas in that you looked at the start, notice any changes, however subtle. Do a bit of breathing into your chest when you get there to investigate that. Your abdomen, softness, how your neck feels, how your head feels on the floor. I've got a very different neck to when I started. That last one is fantastic for your neck. If you can master it and you can practice it daily, it's just going to let your chest muscles soften and thus your neck muscles. Just checking in, I'm still there on the screen. I don't want to shock when I set up like yesterday. So you can just stay there as ever. If you're feeling good and you just want to lie there and it's lovely and you're all cozy and you don't have to do anything, then stay there. Why not? And if not, then think about doing a bit of movement, getting your body, reminding it it's there. You might have lost sight of it for a little while. If you want to, come over onto your side, have a little rest there before you sit up. When you do sit up as ever, come up slowly, 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 slowly. Push up with your arms. Sit on your bottom. Your hip, wherever you're sitting. Say hello if you want to. I'll pop my glasses on, so if anybody wants to say bye or hi or whatever they want to do, then do. I hope you enjoyed that. I did. That was lovely. Oh, my neck's amazing now. Oh my God, it's so lovely. I would, if you've got neck problems and you do that before you go to bed, oh my God, it's so good. Right, so I shall see you all Tuesday. I'm not going to do Wednesdays. I've made an executive decision that Wednesdays is not really working out for me somehow. I don't know why. So Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, I'm going to think about Zoom again, have a rethink. Maybe at the start of, where are we, June. I might do it as a bit more organised, getting people, to sign in and all that sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's it. Have a lovely weekend. If you're out and about or you're doing your 2 meters away from somebody meetings, then stay safe and yeah, that's it. Lots of love. And remember to comment if you want to, email me if you want to, pop round, stand at the end of my driveway and I'll show you some exercises if you need to. And yeah, take care. Lots of love. You're very welcome. Whoever's saying thank you. Oh, Fiona. Lovely Fiona. Lots of love, Fiona. Hope to see you out walking on the hill one day. You're very welcome, Kaz. And that shoulder one, that last one, would be absolutely perfect for you if you can master it. Maybe watch the video again, watch me doing it, because it's very different to being told to watching it. But that would be a brilliant one if you could kind of master that. So yeah, have a go with that. All right, my loves, take care. Bye.